everyone. Dan Hamhuis retired a few days ago, and I just wanted to make a video kind of when a notable player retires from the NHL, and I know it was a few days ago, but it was kind of like no one really picked up on it. Like a few places did, but it never really got a huge amount of traction. Anyway, so I just wanted to run through his career, have a brief chat wearing the Patterson Vancouver jersey. It is currently thunderstorming outside, so every now and then you may get like a... well, that's... fine, I've got to do the video, don't I? So, his junior career started at Prince George for the Cougars. It was a bit of a weird way that he got there. So, he had a good year before his junior eligible draft year, but he broke his tibia and barely played in the year before that. So, none of the scouts really saw him. But, he made it out and then, got protected by Prince George and... was able to play there for 4 years, won CHL Defender of the Year in his last year. Obviously, the WHL Defender of the Year that comes with that. Obviously, the main leagues making you Defender of the Year, then you're probably going to get it in the WHL as well. And he got taken 12th overall by the Nashville Predators the year before that. So that was the year that he got a point a game pretty much in his third season as a defender. Became a really big part of that team, making some deepish playoff runs. They made it to the conference final once, but got picked up by Nashville, and that's where he kind of stayed for quite a while, pretty much until he got out of his RFA years and became a UFA. He stayed there outside of the first season, pretty much made outside of the first 2 seasons, pretty much made the team from the outset. And never really looked back. The only year that he kind of had to go back to the AHL and play a full season was during the lockout year, because he was one of those players that was kind of on the fringe, only played 1 season, so they could bring him down and play him in the AHL just to make sure he was still getting some games into him. So he actually would have, he's 44th all-time for games for defenders. He would have ended up 34th all-time if it wasn't for that lockout year. And then I guess you got the other lockout year on top of that. His career stats were 1,148 games, 59 goals, 297 assists, and 356 points. And he had nearly 700 penalty minutes with 684 in the playoffs, 68 points, 68 games. So, geez, could you imagine he had 68 playoff points? 21 playoff points, 3 goals, and 54 PIMs. His shot was always his weakness, like ever since the WHL days. That was always his knock, was his shot. He was never a huge goal scorer. Not that it was a massive thing for defenders to be able to score, especially in the very early noughties. He's still just dealing with a trap at the moment, so defensive scoring wasn't exactly of note. But, he tried to work on his shot as much as he could, and I think that was a big proponent of why he could sort of stay around in the NHL, be able to get some assists and rebounds, and became a good player. But, it's not really why he's noteworthy. He won a gold medal with the Canadian team, also went to the World Cup, the IIHF World Championship, and won gold there. And got a silver and a bronze in World Junior. So, unfortunately, wasn't able to get the gold. And made it to a conference, and he made it to the Stanley Cup Finals with Vancouver Canucks. No surprise I'm wearing the Vancouver jersey, mostly because I don't have a Nashville one yet, so we're slowly building up the collection. They made it there, and obviously Game 7 with Boston, the city wasn't too happy about that, so they may have chucked up a small stink. That was the ticket that he signed. He went to Vancouver when he became a UFA. Stayed there and then went for Dallas for 2 years, back to Nashville for 2, and he pretty much ended it in the bubble. So all in all, like a pretty good career. Those point numbers aren't exactly coming off the board, but there was something else special about Hamhuis that really just helped the team, especially in defense. He was usually paired with the offensive defenseman, and he could stay back. But he's one of the last hip checkers that I can think of that could really hit that hip check in the NHL. I can't think of it. No one comes to mind, at least. And put in the comments down below if I miss someone. Just in this sort of post lockout era that just rings a bell that just could throw so many hip checks. He also fought a few times, had a fair few conquers, some really good scraps down there, and I'll put a link in the description so you can go check out some of those. And yeah, like, I mean, just amazing. Just a really good player, just a really hands down journeyman that was able to play more than 1,100 games in the NHL. It's a shame he didn't win a cup. I always like someone that if they can get to that 1,000 mark of games, that they do end up winning a cup, and that's a player that kind of deserves one with the way that he played. It wasn't soft minutes. It weren't crazy skilled minutes. He knew what player he was and played within those limitations. And usually when you say that, you're talking about a defender that doesn't have a lot of skill. He did have a lot of skill, but he didn't play outside of that skill. And I think that was very key for his game. He was always trusted with hard matchups every single night. The other thing is he didn't get injured for until probably the end of his career, the last maybe 4 seasons when he was like starting to get to 34 years old. He barely got injured. Like, you just see like 82 games, 81 games, 80 games. Like, it's just this constant thing on his game sheet that he's playing a full season, which, I mean, makes a coach and a GM's life so much easier when you can have a defender that's just always there. And that's what he was. He was just always there and he always did his job. And I think that's the best way to describe him. Now he owns the Prince George Cougars, or partly owns them, with Eric Brower of all people, or Eric Brewer. So yeah, he's got obviously that to do. He's got a family. He did a lot of community work. That was the other thing I did want to mention. He did a huge amount of community work, especially going to Vancouver. He really wanted to go back home, and that would, I mean, if he won a cup there, that would have been great. I honestly think we would be talking about Dan Hamhuis a little bit differently if he won a cup with Vancouver. I think he would have been one of those people outside of the Sedins and maybe a couple of others that you would remember being part of that cup team and being a huge member there. And I just think he would be a little bit more fondly remembered in his time in Vancouver. And going back to your hometown, winning a cup there, it's just. It's that romantic side of sports, right? It's just everything you want, but unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Man, that crowd, that place would have erupted if they managed to pull that off. Anyway, guys, that's the whole video. I just want to make a quick one on him. I started making this very technical, and then I was like, no, like it's so boring if I just run through all of his numbers and things like that. So I just wanted to say what he did well, and run through some of those moments. But yeah, I mean, at the same time, he did win that gold in Sochi, beating Sweden 3-0. I think it would have been pretty amazing to win a gold medal for your country. So that's something you can always hang his head on high with, that he played the game the right way the whole way through. He had his flaws, he definitely did, but he won a gold medal. He did almost everything that you could possibly do in this league. Unfortunately, just missing out on one aspect of that. But yeah. Anyway, guys, if you did like this video, hit the like button. Otherwise, hit subscribe if you made it all this way and you haven't subscribed. We're at 145 now. We're really growing quite quickly. And I appreciate every one of you. I really do. It gives you a lot of motivation after your work and do a few things to make sure you conk out another video before going to the gym or playing some video games. So it really does mean a lot. Comment down below if you have any favourite Hamhuis moments, anything like that. Obviously, yeah, I think now's the time to sort of bring any good stories that you have on him or just comments in general. And yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. See you, and bye.